Hours, it sounds good. Hour and 3/4.
My preference is. Like to be done in 90 minutes. You don't need to go, you'll get a, you can throw.
You gotta start giving out gold stars. Give us some incentive.
Their fastest one. I think you can get this done in 22.
Good evening. Welcome to the November 12th special meeting of the Ithaca Common Council. We'll go ahead and call this meeting to order. I'll note that Alderperson Brown has texted me a few minutes ago that she is unwell and will not be joining us this evening. The rest of council is here. Since we have some members of the public and presumably some number of high school students completing their course requirement, I will read the emergency evacuation notice. In the case of an emergency, we are to take one of two exits, the one that most of you came through or the one over my left shoulder. And we are to head west towards the corner of South Cayuga and Green. Please do not cross the street. Those with restricted mobility, in the event of emergencies, it is best to move to one of the stairwells and first responders will arrive to aid you. And that might include Mr. Keel, which is a little riff. In the event of other emergencies, you'll be notified at that time. We want everyone to be aware of the surroundings and offer help to when it is not to your own detriment, as you are your own best advocate. With that, agenda review, any additions or deletions to the agenda? None. All right. With that, I will invite up. Rich, are you representing the town? Or is I don't. Oh, okay. CJ, come on up. I thought Rod was coming. My apologies. We have representatives from the town of Ithaca here to talk a little bit about a project that has been bouncing around between town's corporation council and the city attorney's office around a proposed joint historic preservation ordinance. This is an opportunity for council to be briefed on this proposal as it was started, CJ, 5 years ago?
Yes, 2020.
Yes, so it's been a while. I think Mr. Nguyen is the only member of council who is still on from when this was initiated. So we thought that since the town has a vested interest in moving this forward, that we would have an opportunity to let council hear a little bit about the background and ask any questions that they might need. And then we will move on to our budget vote. So CJ, floor is yours unless there's anything you'd like me to add further.
Oh, that's fantastic. Thank you.
And can you just, I think it is, but just make sure your green light is on for your microphone.
Yes, I believe
Okay. Yep,
so.
just
Everyone can hear me okay?
You'd be amazed at the, yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Well, good evening. My name's CJ Randall and I'm the Director of Planning for the town of Ithaca. And a little background on this. So my predecessor, Sue Ritter, worked for some time with Lisa Nicholas' predecessor, Joanne Cornish, to begin investigating the idea of a joint Ithaca Landmarks Preservation Commission and a joint historic preservation program. I believe Town Supervisor Rod Howe had sent a memo or just briefly hitting some of the high points of why this particular shared service would be in both the benefit of the city and the town. And I'm here to essentially answer questions about those kinds of shared services, a potential timeline, and obviously answer any questions about our experience working with historic preservation planner Brian McCracken, who has done a series of public outreach already, including a historic tax credits for homeowners webinar and other public outreach, which is really interesting and entertaining as well as informative. So I'm really lucky to have him on staff, and we would obviously love the opportunity to be able to share in those services and defray the cost of his work. So yeah, in a nutshell, I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thanks very much, colleagues. Mr. St. Perez.
I just want to say that I'm very excited about the possibility of this furthering collaboration. In my experience, a good number of Ithacans do not know whether they live in the town or city of Ithaca. And I see us working together to do our historic preservation as just absolutely good and a cost saver.
Mr. Letterman.
Thank you very much. I appreciate your interest and willingness to collaborate across municipal borders. I think it's better for everyone. I'm personally not supportive just because I don't believe how the ILPC currently operates is conducive to effective historic preservation and to our housing goals as the city. And I think they sort of end up erecting a lot of barriers that are only able to be crossed by people with significant means. And I don't think that's good for our housing goals, and I don't think that's good for a lot of our constituents. But I do appreciate the effort at trying to make this work, and look forward to further municipal collaboration.
Mr. Keel? No? I do have a couple of comments and questions on my end, which is, I think that as this item moves forward for further discussion, I know that there have been items that have been worked back and forth the last few years. I do think that, to the point of some of my colleagues raised over email, I'm less sharing services I support. I do have some open questions about the idea of granting non-city residents the authority to make or break historic designations within our own, right? There'd be like 2 board seats that are proposed to be seconded for town members, town representatives rather. And so like, I think that on the one hand, I think my position on like, if we would like to closely collaborate government to government across the board on everything, I'd be more than happy to do that. But I do think that there are some challenges to incorporating, you know, at the end of the day, city taxpayers are the ones footing the bill for the majority of city services. And I have some concerns about granting votes to members of a city body that don't reflect our community members. I would perhaps be open to a conversation where the town expressed preferences or nominations of city residents to reflect their shared interests. But I think that, or if there was such a way, and I'm not going to ask the city attorney to weigh in on this with zero prep time, but you know, if there was such a way to ensure that these members were voting members for decisions that were town specific, I mean, I think that would be another alternative. But creating a sort of more diffuse accountability structure for how the city makes these determinations is something I'm a little bit uncomfortable with. Mr. Shapiro, did you have a hand? No, Mr. Keel.
I guess I'll jump in here just briefly to say things I've already said before, but I think that there's drastic problems with the way the ILPC functions in the city of Ithaca. I think, as I've mentioned, College Town is a perfect example of this, and the kind of the distinction between the new development in College Town and the older housing stock, which has been created by a historic district that, as far as I can tell, is completely arbitrary. And I don't think I can support moving forward with this plan. I think for all the reasons that the mayor stated and Mr. Letterman, but also because I think that in order for us to even have a conversation about the ILPC, we need to seriously consider reworking their charge and the way they go about thinking about historic preservation in the city of Ithaca.
Ms. Rizzio.
Yeah, just a quick comment. Thank you for coming. And thank you for being interested in talking with the city and in working with the city. This is not, however, on the top of my list of things that I'm hoping that the town and the city put their heads together on. We have so many things to get sorted out. On the top of my list would be that fire contract. So I guess I just want to say I welcome the opportunity to get everybody to the table. Let's talk about like some really big things, housing, fire, etc. This is someplace in there, but I see these other things as being just unresolved, and I don't think that they should be at this point. So I really urge those discussions to just take care, let's take care of the matters that we have at hand that we need to put our heads together on. Thank you.
Mr. Letterman.
So I should ask you, are there other areas where you feel that increased cooperation could be useful in addition to this, or exploring maybe on the land use housing side, or more generally, just wherever you want to take that?
That's a really good question. I'd have to think about the implementation that the town has done on the 2014 comprehensive plan, really alongside the city's 2015 comprehensive plan. I think a lot of good progress has been made. But going back to this, I believe there was one point about the concern about the makeup of the Preservation Commission. My understanding is that city residency is not a requirement for membership. on the-
Presently.
Okay, okay. I don't believe, anyway. I may be mistaken about that. But
So sort of larger comment about, as my colleagues alluded to, exploring how we are going to look at some of our quasi judicial bodies.
yes,
At
okay.
the end of the day, there's an enormous amount of, right? Everyone's heard me say this before. I'm still going to do my thing. Right. We're the largest in commuter city in the
Mhm.
state. As a percentage of our population, our residents bear an enormous infrastructural cost. And while I recognize that it is limiting for us to only have, our 6 square miles as a geography for including members on our boards, I do think that at the end of the day, folks who are making decisions that have an indirect or a direct sort of financial impact on the city we need to ensure that there's the appropriate sort of like balance of the impact that the actual ratepayers or taxpayers are going to have in our community. And some of our boards and commissions don't require that, right? And I think that's something that, as we look more holistically at revising elements of the charter, that's something that's going to be looked at.
Okay. Yeah, so we are always open to collaboration, especially with Lisa and her team and planning. I think this was seen as a initial foray we could make in terms of some small part of land use. And the thing that I think would be great about it is extending historic preservation throughout our shared geography. I mean, you probably know, and a council member did mention that sometimes people don't even realize whether they live in the city or the town. And this seems like a really wonderful way to advance that shared identity while also advancing these shared services, even in just a small way. So it'd be something of a token, I suppose, in the dollar value of it, but I think it'd be very meaningful to people in the town and perhaps even the city too, and defray some of the costs of the historic preservation program. So,
Alderperson Fabrizio, do you have
Yeah.
further, please?
Yeah, I was just wondering, can you give us a sense of the scope and the size of the town's planning department?
yes, so we have myself and we have 5 staff as well. So we have 2 senior planners, sustainability planner, and our administrative assistant. And we cover 35 square miles here. As our town supervisor says, we are the croissant around the city. And yeah, absolutely.
And so your building department is completely separate.
That's correct. So that's zoning and code enforcement. That's right.
And how
Absolutely.
many people are in that?
Oh, off the top of my head, let's see. I believe I want to say 8 or 9, maybe 10.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely, of course.
I don't see any further questions. So I think, this has been a helpful initial conversation from this council's perspective. I think council members, as you've had time to digest the materials that were circulated, please follow up with any questions. And we do have presently a sort of government to government working group looking at a number of issues. And so we can incorporate any prospective changes on a future issue. CJ, I'll have to thank you and apologize that you're likely to have this conversation again not too soon, since 5 of my colleagues chose not to seek reelection. And this board will be substantially revised in a couple of weeks here. But we appreciate having you.
Absolutely.
It's 5. Yeah.
Okay, wow.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely. Thank you all for your service. Very much appreciate it.
Colleagues, with that, we're going to go real slow because I know there's some questions about procedure. So don't worry, I will be here to handhold. First, may I have someone move the 2026 budget for adoption? Moved by Alderperson St. Perez, seconded by Alderperson Kumar. Alderperson Fabrizio, it is my understanding that you have a motion to reconsider a previous question pertaining to the elimination of a park manager position that you intend to reclass to the initial funded position of the Assistant Supervisor of Streets for the dollar value of,
$115 and $115,697.
does that correctly reflect your motion?
It does. Thank
Is
you.
there a second to the motion to reconsider? Seconded by Alderperson Haynes Sharp. I will turn the floor over to Alderperson Fabrizio if she so desires, but I will just note that this was the Alderperson's intended motion to zero out a vacant position that was being proposed to be reclassed from DPW to Stewart Park. The position that was zeroed out was already unfunded because it was a new creation, and this is an attempt to sort of clear up a what I'll call procedural misunderstanding by recouping those dollars from the vacant position currently held. Anything to add to that, Alderperson?
Right. And the idea was to take this money and instead of using it to fund a new position, that it would be split between the Downtown Community Outreach Worker Program and the Violence Interrupter Program. And coincidentally, those two things come out to $115,000. So it's a very elegant sort of swap. Both of those programs, I think, have just proven their worth many times over, not just to the individuals in our community who need assistance, but also to our business community. And I think that it's imperative that we continue to fund two programs that have proven to be effective rather than fund a new position at this point in time when, we're not flush for funding a new position. But I absolutely, I was disappointed to see that these were not included in the city manager's budget to begin with. These were put in as over target requests, but I know that council does have an interest in supporting some of the most vulnerable and needy people within our community, as well as the health and vitality of the downtown. So I appreciate your support.
Mr. Shapiro? You were the next hand.
Okay. Well, she kind of answered a little bit of what I was thinking as she was talking through. So just for clarity, she's putting through has this resolution been seen by anyone? Like, is this?
This is a clarification. So this is, this resolution was passed in the previous budget amendment session. It erroneously, through a misunderstanding, this erroneously defunded a position that had not yet been funded and is just being corrected to fund the vacant, to defund the vacant position that was going to be repurposed for the new position.
Sure, but I guess in the way we were putting forth amendments during the budget process, we had to defund as a separate action than funding something. So she's not presenting that here. I just want to know before I'm voting if this is something we're allowed to be voting
But the alderperson's comments about the intent were contextual. The only thing you are voting on right now is to correct the defunding of a vacant position from one department to the correct department.
So this
those
doesn't
mo-
actually fund anything else?
Not yet. There are subsequent motions to reconsider that will be advanced this evening, but this does not do anything other than return those monies to the general fund.
Okay, I don't have any other questions then. Thank you.
Alderperson Matos, please.
If this motion was to fail, does that mean that there's just $115,000 being put back into the, like, I guess what happens? Does the vacant funded position stay vacant and funded? Does it go
Yes.
to, okay, so it wouldn't revert back to what city manager recommended for the parks manager?
Strictly speaking, no,
Okay.
because that non-existent position was voted to be defunded.
Okay, so then, okay, sounds good. Thank you.
Any further, Mr. Nguyen?
Well, building on that, so I've seen differing communication on this. Would that park manager position still be on the roster but unfunded? Because I am interested, I have a tough time with this. I represent both Stewart Park and downtown. They're both very important to me. And Stewart Park needs a lot of love, as does downtown. So I don't love this. That said, there are acute needs right now downtown that I'm empathetic to. And so I understand. But that said, my longer term goal is, if the administration reprioritize things, I want to make sure that the position is still on the roster. And if we find money later, that we can fund it.
I'll turn to the administration. My understanding is that defunding a position shouldn't remove it from the roster, but I'll seek clarification there.
So you didn't actually add it to the roster. That's what you opted not to do. So what was in the proposed budget was to take an existing vacant position and transform it in, essentially, other than the title change, it took a DPW position and moved it over to be supervised by the Youth Bureau. So, and we've sent some additional, hopefully helpful context as to why it was done that way. So all you did last week was not allow us to do that. So basically what you did is you just left the assistant superintendent of streets on the roster funded.
Vacant and funded.
Vacant and funded.
Thank you. Mr. St. Perez.
I'm sorry. So just to clarify that, were we to wish to leave the Stewart Park manager position unfunded, but have it on the roster, we would need to both pass this reconsider and well, we'd have to reconsider another item, correct? Because we'd have to undo the amendment that we did last time and instead do this amendment, which was the intent.
So if you're asking about whether we were to undo the decision from last week,
Yes.
correct? Then yes.
Okay.
Mr. Keel.
Point of order, this is a motion to reconsider.
Right.
So therefore, we wouldn't have to undo the last one if we're reconsidering the previous motion, correct?
Correct. I think the alderperson in her comments is also, well, so yes, I assume that you're also moving to amend the initial resolution as described in our, but as I articulate. We're gonna, yeah. So you are moving to amend. Okay. Second. St. Perez, okay. And then also recognized.
So just to be clear, if we pass this, this both restores the park manager position unfunded? No.
No, what the alderperson is looking to do is just, the intent of her previous motion was to defund the vacant position. That position that was defunded was one that doesn't exist yet. This is attempting to correct that to defund the vacant position.
Thank you.
Mr. Shapiro.
I'm loving that there's kids in the audience that probably have not following this. I'm not following a lot of this, so so what we're voting on, if we vote yes, it's to put this money back into the general fund.
Correct.
Thank you.
Any further, Mr. Letterman?
I guess I should express not a question, but a thought, which is I am in favor of this resolution. Certainly the position already went through civil service, as I understand it from Catherine's email, and so it exists to be funded in future years. But I would prefer sustaining the existing programs we have that a lot of people in the community have spent time working on, and that, so far as I understand it, have been effective. So I will support this in order to make sure that we can support the outreach workers and the GIVE grant. I voted against the outreach workers last week. I know that's not exactly the question that's pending, but it's sort of downstream of it. And we did get that letter today from the DIA expressing how they've worked on it. And I think that is sort of persuasive to change my position on that.
Mr. Keel?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yeah, want to follow up on my colleague's comments and just express a thought I brought up last week, which was making sure that we're identifying alternative funds, alternative streams of funding to be able to fund positions like this in the future. Everyone knows it's been a tough budget year. And I think one of the things I told myself last week was if we funded or if we decided to go ahead with non-resident parking fees in Stewart Park, then I would be okay considering additional expansion of staffing opportunities for Stewart Park. But we didn't do that. And I feel like, as I've said before, I've got to stand on business. And I think one of the things we talked about last week was the administration bringing us forward a proposal that was more flashed out in terms of what parking would actually look like, charging for parking. And I think from my perspective, especially if the position is created by civil service, that if the administration wants to bring forward a proposal for parking fees later this year or early next year, I guess probably early next year at this point, then I would be open to considering funding this position at that time. But as of now, I'm in support of this. I think it's important that we are not cutting active programs to fund ones that we don't have yet.
All right, let's go to a vote. Alderperson Matos,
No.
Alderperson Nguyen,
Yes.
Alderperson Haynes Sharp,
Yes.
Alderperson St. Perez,
Yay.
Alderperson Shapiro,
Yes.
Alderperson Keel,
Yes.
Alderperson Kumar,
Yes.
Alderperson Letterman,
Yes.
Alderperson Fabrizio,
Yes.
and the mayor votes yes. That carries 9-1. I understand there's another motion to reconsider. Alderperson Haynes Sharp, my understanding is that your motion to reconsider is as a member of the prevailing side to defeat the amendment to add $50,000 to the budget to support the Second Wind Cottages Violence Interrupter Program. You are now seeking to reconsider that vote. Is that correct?
That's true.
Is there a second? Seconded by Alderperson Kumar. Any discussion on this? Thank you, City Attorney. Any discussion on this? Seeing none. Alderperson Matos,
No.
Alderperson Nguyen,
Yes.
Alderperson Haynes Sharp,
Yes.
Alderperson St. Perez,
Yay.
Alderperson Shapiro,
Yes.
Alderperson Keel,
Yes.
Alderperson Kumar,
Yes.
Alderperson Letterman,
Yes.
Alderperson Fabrizio,
Yes.
and the mayor votes yes. That carries 9-1. Alderperson St. Perez, I understand you have a motion to reconsider the previous question when you were on the prevailing side, defeating an amendment that would fund $65,000 for the community outreach worker program that is a partnership between the county and the DIA.
You have a mystic way of just reading my mind.
Thank you. Is that so moved?
It is.
Is there a second? Seconded by Alderperson Haynes Sharp. Any discussion on this? Seeing none. Alderperson Matos,
No.
Alderperson Nguyen,
Yes.
Alderperson Haynes Sharp,
Yes.
Alderperson St. Perez,
Yay.
Alderperson Shapiro,
Yes.
Alderperson Keel,
Yes.
Alderperson Kumar,
Yes.
Alderperson Letterman,
Yes.
Alderperson Fabrizio,
Yes.
and the mayor votes yes. That carries 9-1. The net change in the budget is projected to be about $697 to the good. Is that correct? To the approximately? This nets out to be. I know from speaking with the city controller, this is functionally not impacting our tax rate at all. With that, bless you. Alderperson Matos, please.
I guess this is a clarifying question for you. Do we still plan on bringing forward a separate resolution in regards to unarmed responders?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, of course. Sorry, I'm just trying to pull up the agenda now, folks. We have a package of resolutions that we now have to move, so just give us 2 seconds. Okay, here we go. So first, we have the motion on the table to move the budget as amended. Any further discussion on the budget? Alderperson Matos.
Yeah, I just want to make my vote clear to my constituents tonight. I will be voting no on this budget just simply because I don't agree with a lot of the way that this budget was built out, the lack of unarmed responders, the lack of supporting infrastructure through DPW, so on and so forth. So yeah, that's it.
Alderperson St. Perez.
I actually do share a degree of lack of faith in this budget. I don't think it's a great budget. I will be voting for it because the alternative is a significantly worse outcome. But like, if this budget does not pass, we attempt to implement a budget that contains a $2.1 million shortfall, which is, as I see it, not an option. That doesn't mean this is a great budget, and I would encourage council over the coming year to amend this budget as needed.
Thank you, Alderperson. Alderperson Shapiro.
I think I'm still on the fence. I think I've already voiced that this budget process, I don't feel like we came to the right choices. Certainly, when we identified there was a $2 million gap and we had to make choices again. I don't think, I agree with a lot of those choices. I don't think our community had enough time to really, or at least I don't feel like I had enough time to really talk to the community about what we're doing with things like parking. And I think, you know, I drive everywhere I go. I don't mind paying for parking, but I don't know if I'm the only one that feels that way. And I think that sounds like a substantial thing that we're about to do that we should just be talking to folks about. I don't like that we didn't put money in the emergency repair fund. You know, we haven't dipped into the fund, but that's because you only use it when there's an emergency repair need and you can't predict those. And it feels just like, it just feels like this is a budget that very easily was able to trim $2 million and at the same time not be responsive to all the needs in the community. And I appreciate some of the amendments that just got passed. I also can appreciate that we have to do more work to do with developing unarmed responders, and we have some money set aside that I hope we can have more conversations about. I think, well, I don't need to go further than that. But I think I don't want to vote for this budget, but I'm going to kind of let it play out a little bit more because it just doesn't feel like a good budget to support.
Alderperson Fabrizio.
Yeah, I would echo pretty much everything that David just said. I think the good news is we're in much better shape in terms of this budget than last year's budget. But I don't think we're in better shape really fiscally. I don't think the fiscal health of the city is in better shape. And just so people know, this budget, and I hope I have these numbers right, the tax levy increase for this budget is 4.11%, which compared to last year was 8%. And this translates to, I think, about a 2.75% tax increase, about, right? Which, you know, last year we were looking at an average increase of like 13%. So yes, I think this is, we did better. I think the process still needs a lot of work. I agree that the public didn't have the opportunity to really engage with the final numbers. I think we had a hearing, you know, just the timing of the hearings with when people could actually look at the data was not good. I appreciate, though, that we did hold the reins on new capital projects, and I really appreciate the mayor's attentiveness to ensure that short-term borrowing is something that we need to not be doing. I agree on the parking fees. I'm really concerned about those, that we didn't get input about that, and that was just a sort of easy way to try to fill the gaps, fill the holes. On the other hand, a lot of fees that we did raise hadn't been raised in a very, very, very long time, some of them 20 years. So I don't feel badly about that. But I guess what I would say is I think that ultimately we need to make much deeper cuts. I don't think this is a time for us to be putting new positions in. I think it's a time to be critically looking at vacancies. Because I just don't think that we are on a sustainable track. It's just unaffordable to be here, and until we really rein things in. This is going to continue to be a problem for so many people in this community, whether you're a renter, a homeowner, a landlord, a retiree, it affects all of us. And I guess the last thing I would say is we partially have, really big a hole in our budget because we are not getting our fair share from the state of New York, either in our appropriation and also in the state's definition of tax exempt property. And I would just like to sort of say to everyone in this community of all political stripes and persuasions, let's work together and try to make those changes, because those are really big ones. It's going to take a groundswell to move things in Albany, and we need to really put our heads together and unite about that. We all have the same objectives. So thank you.
Mr. Letterman.
I'll certainly be voting for the budget. I was disappointed when I learned it was in base 10 and not base 8. I thought we were getting a big discount. Thanks, Patrick. But no, I'm glad. I think there are a lot of challenges with this budget process. Certainly, I don't need to tell anybody that. I am pleased that we are getting the short-term borrowing situation under control. I think that will help the city in the long term. And I think I'm glad we're continuing some of these programming to help folks with sort of law enforcement assisted diversion and other things to help our unhoused community. But I think there is I'm not a fan of the term fiscal responsibility, but I think more of a sense in this budget of proactively planning multiple years out to address our sort of fiscal needs. So I'm pleased to vote for this budget.
Ms. Kumar.
I just want to say that I share a lot of the concerns, particularly the ones brought up by my colleague from the First Ward. I am very disappointed about the unarmed responders, and I really, really hope and look forward to a robust reintegrating of these goals into our city policies. I also want to reflect what my alderperson Letterman has said. Sorry, my colleague alderperson Letterman mentioned. I agree. I will be voting for this. I do think, all things considered, we do need to push this forward before the deadline. And in particular, I just wanted to speak positively about the parking fees. I do think that they're in line with our goals as a city, with our goals that many of us representatives have come to council and spoken about, promoting sustainability, our climate goals, increasing local business access and turnover downtown. Other cities like Burlington, Ann Arbor, who have implemented slightly higher parking fees, have seen improved legal compliance of parking mandates, and also improved and increased downtown commerce. Additionally, I think it just reflects the true cost of infrastructure. It keeps up with market demand. I think it's in line with, a lot of the economic studies that we've seen about this topic, and it improves equity in transportation spending, something that we've been speaking about a lot lately. And overall, I do think that this in particular is a very positive move for the city. And I look forward to seeing different ways in which we can increase equity in transportation. But I do think that this is in line with our goals. I understand that maybe it happened suddenly because of the shortfall, but I don't feel like it is something that came out of nowhere, that is extremely against what I've been hearing that we've been sent here, the ideas to represent. So overall, I will be voting for this. I think there's some to like in this budget, but either way, that we don't really have much of a choice considering the tight year that we're in.
Mr. Nguyen.
Well said on parking. It's not too early to think about, we're not even done the 26 budget yet. I don't think it's too early to think about the 2027 budget, and I have a different perspective on things. I'm not looking for more cuts. I'm hoping that 27, 28, my last 2 years on council, the budgets that I will affect in my last 2 years on council will be reinvestment years. We are putting, or at least one of my personal priorities is housing, and we ask a lot of our planners, and we have a defunded planning position that I would like to fill out, and all the DPW, the public works things that Kayla mentioned. So the parks manager that I hope we find room to fund. So you know, I've said this before, it's true even today that I personally hear more requests for services than I do complaints about tax bills. So I'm looking forward to a reinvestment year.
Alderperson Hayes Sharp.
I'm voting yes for the budget. I think it was hard to sort through the decision-making process. I'm glad we could bring the amendments forward that we did tonight. And as this is my last year on the budget process, I wish everyone much success in the coming years.
Mr. Keel.
I'll try to keep my soapbox short today. I wanted to also mention some of the really important and good things that came out of this budget. One of which the mayor talked about, I think maybe in our first meeting on the budget, which was the significant increase in development, which helped offset some of the significant increases in inflation for services and goods that the city experienced. And I have put this out there before, but if anybody would like to take a tour around College Town and see the tens of millions of dollars of investment and building that's happening right now, and theoretically will be finished in large part by the next time people are discussing a budget in the city of Ithaca. I think these are really big things that are happening and will help offset some of the costs of rising prices over the next year. I also wanted to just briefly speak on Alderperson Wynn's points because I think I fully agree with them. I'm really excited to see the city make investments in the coming year and think critically about how we're making those investments. I really hope that we get a fully fleshed out unarmed responder plan and we're able to invest in that heavily. Because I think that it's not that the people of Ithaca can't and don't want more tax increases. It's just that they feel like, from what I've heard, they want to be able to see the impact of those tax increases. And one of the things I'm hoping we stop this year is rampant tax increases without perceived benefit. So I'm excited for the coming years. I'm excited to see what we're going to do all together, and I'm excited to work with 5 new colleagues, 2 of which I believe are here tonight. So thanks for being here.
I will just say of all of the points, I think the one I want to echo the most is Alderperson St. Perez. We have a fiduciary responsibility to the city and a requirement under New York State law to pass a balanced budget. I applaud the work of everyone who has contributed to ensuring that we get to a balanced budget. And I am, like Mr. Wynn, committed to ensuring that we have the appropriate resources as our city continues to grow over the coming years. With that, we'll go ahead and turn to a vote. Alderperson Matos?
No.
Alderperson Wynn?
Aye.
Alderperson Hayes Sharp?
Yes.
Alderperson St. Perez?
Yay.
Alderperson Shapiro?
Yes.
Alderperson Keel?
Yes.
Alderperson Kumar?
Yes.
Alderperson Letterman?
Yes.
Alderperson Fabrizio?
Yes.
And the mayor votes yes. That carries 9-1. Our next vote is on, of course, I just closed it. The resolution. Yeah, can someone summarize it? Well, we're moving a resolution to authorize the tax rate at $12.24 per thousand of assessed value. Okay. Approximately $12.24 per assessed value, seconded by Alderperson Kumar. Alderperson Matos?
Yes.
Alderperson Wynn?
Yes.
Alderperson Haynes Sharp?
Yes.
Alderperson St. Perez?
Yay.
Alderperson Shapiro? Alderperson Keel?
Yes.
Alderperson Kumar?
Yes.
Alderperson Letterman?
Yes.
Alderperson Fabrizio?
Yes.
And the mayor votes yes. That carries unanimously. I moved and Alderperson Kumar seconded. And just before I let council collect their wits and realize that we're done and they could speak for longer, can I have them? I'm sorry. Oh, we have to do wastewater separately. That's right. May I have someone, Mr. Letterman?
I move the recommended budget from the Joint Special Committee on the Ithaca Area Wastewater Treatment Plant.
Second by Alderperson Kumar. Any discussion on this? Alderperson Matos?
Yes.
Wynn?
Aye.
Haynes Sharp? St. Perez,
Yay.
Shapiro,
Yes.
Keel,
Yes.
Kumar,
Yes.
Letterman,
Yes.
Fabrizio.
Yes.
Quintelmo is a yes. That carries unanimously. Now, may I have a motion to adjourn? Moved by Alderperson Keel, seconded by Alderperson Kumar. All those in favor of adjourning?